I'm not going to split these into read and haven't read because it's sad. Illumicrate just does it well with these covers. Then we've finally got one of the ones that I have read. As a side note, haven't read it. Hello, I'm Beth Joey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome. This is the channel where I paint my face, turn my camera on and talk about some books. I've been signed up to various subscription boxes on and off for the past like 2 years, which means the number of books that I have collected from those subscription boxes is absolutely insane, but the number of books that I've actually read is probably even more insane because it is very, very few. To hold myself accountable, I thought it might be fun to run through all of the books that I currently own that have come from book subscription boxes, all the special editions, show them off to you, talk about them, and hopefully this will be a prompt to hold myself accountable to actually reading these books because I have cancelled all of my book subscriptions until I make a solid dent in this pile. So the first book that I'm going to run through is something where I don't actually know what book subscription box I got this from. I think it was one that I immediately unsubscribed to. I think it was like a Braxos or something, and that is Within These Wicked Walls by Lauren Blackwood. Obsessed with the cover. I think it's a fantasy romance, but haven't read it yet. Next up is all of the Illumicrate books, and I'm not going to split these into read and haven't read because it's sad, so I'll just mention whether or not I've read it. And it starts with This Woven Kingdom by Tahara Mafi. I've read Shatter Me by Tahara Mafi, loved it, really keen to go on with the rest of that series, but of course want to read this as well, and that cover is absolutely amazing to me. I love that it's printed directly onto the hardback rather than onto a slipcover. Then we've got A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross. Again, beautiful, beautiful cover, super, super shiny. Never read it, super intrigued by it. Then we've got Book of Night by Holly Black. Again, love the cover. Illumicrate just does it well with these covers. I'm actually kind of scared to read this one because I know a lot of people haven't loved Holly Black's debut into sort of adult fiction, but I know also as well that I didn't actually really love The Cruel Prince either. I haven't finished that series, but I didn't love the first one, so I'm not sure how I'm gonna feel about this one. Maybe her adult stuff will actually appeal to me because I didn't love the young adult stuff. Then we've got The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd Jones. This is a more recent one, I believe. Again, know nothing about it, haven't read it. Then we've finally got one of the ones that I have read, and that is A Marvelous Light by Freya Marske. I love that the cover itself is transparent and then the floral design is printed directly onto the hardback, which just really cool to me, and then the sprayed edges are beautiful. This is a book that I really, really enjoyed. Cannot wait to pick up the sequel, which I think has either come out or is coming out really soon. Next up, I have to mention Babel, I don't know how it's pronounced, by R.F. Kuang. I got both the Fairy Loot and Illumicrate editions of this book. This is the Illumicrate edition, and I only kept this one because I love it just that little bit more. I think that cover is really dynamic, and that, you know, you've got the inside of Babel on the back there as well. Absolutely wanted to keep this edition of the book, but didn't see the point in keeping the other one, so I sold it, and the person I sold it to was very, very grateful, so that's what I love to see. As a side note, haven't read it. Then I've got We All Fall Down by Rose Zabo. This is a sort of queer fantasy adventure style story, I believe. Again, obsessed with the cover. It's very autumnal, so maybe this is the season for me to finally pick it up. Then when I went to Yalk, I picked up Ace of Spades by Farida Abike-Iyamide. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm so sorry, I probably butchered that name. Then finally another one that I've actually read, and that is Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. I think this has got a sequel coming out soon, which I'm hoping is true because I really, really, really enjoyed this one when I read it. It's this really, really interesting story of a girl who kind of got the life that she always wanted, and then, or both girls got the life that they always wanted and then hated it. So loved this, loved the little romance in it. I'm hoping that develops. The other book that I picked up from the Illumicrate stand at Yalk was The Jasmine Throne by Tasha Suri. Haven't read it, know nothing about it. It's a chunker. I'm intimidated. Then we've got The Book Eaters by Sunyi Dean. I actually saw this in Waterstones at one point and put it down because I wasn't super, super interested in the premise, but then I got the special edition of it and I'm like, okay, well, I guess I own it now. And then lastly, the last one from Illumicrate that I also haven't read is Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is a baby of a book. I don't know why I haven't read it yet, and apparently it's a super speedy read as well, so I have no excuses for this one. It's got massive hype. I know some people loved it, some people hated it, so I'm intrigued to see what side of the fence I'm going to sit on, but I'll let you know when I do. Now we'll go through all of the Fairy Loot books, which is marginally more, I think, because I've had that subscription box for just a little bit longer than Illumicrate. It took me really, really long time to get off the Illumicrate waiting list. We're going to start with Forging Silver into Stars by Brigid Kemmerer, which I bought because it's the sequel of Defy the Night by Brigid Kemmerer, and I thought that I would really love it. But I've never actually read anything by Brigid Kemmerer, and now I own 2 of her series, so I really do need to do a smash out at some point. By the way, Brigid Kemmerer also got the Fairy Loot special edition of this book. Haven't read it. Then I got Year of the Reaper by Micaiah Lussier. Haven't read it. Obsessed with the absolute dark black, like, darkness of the sprayed edges. I actually bought this book from someone on, I think, Becca's Discord channel, because I saw it and I was kind of hearing it talked about a ton, and this girl was selling it quite cheaply, so I was like, gotta jump on that. And that is Her Majesty's Royal Coven by Juno Dawson. Again, haven't read it, but really love when there's writing on the sprayed edges, and on this there is, which I kind of think is really cool. And then I won't lie, this gives me like anxiety because it stands for HMRC, and I hate HMRC so much. Maybe I will get anxiety while reading this, I don't know. Then I've also got The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie O. Haven't read it, but my god, that cover is probably the most beautiful thing I have ever seen in my life. The most recent book that I picked up, which I think has also appeared in Book of the Month and various other subscription boxes, is Spells for Forgetting by Adrienne Young. I read Fable by Adrienne Young and the second book, which is A Namesake, and I sort of like them. There were 3 stars for me, so I'm hoping this one will be better, and I'm thinking because of all the hype that it's gotten that it will be, so fingers crossed, but I haven't read it yet. Another recent one is Violet Made of Thorns by Gina Chen. Again, haven't read this, but I'm obsessed with the cover. I've seen lots of people talking about it and saying it's good, and I mean, look at the sprayed edge, like, gradient effect there. I think it's absolutely beautiful, so I'm hoping that I love this. Finally, the only Fairy Loot one that I've actually read is Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I'm obsessed with the Caraval universe. I think it's so much fun. I had so much fun reading this, and I cannot wait to pick up the sequel, and I won't lie, if it comes out in special edition for Fairy Loot, I will be buying it. Then we've got The Darkening by Sunya Mara, and again, haven't read it, but the cover is really striking, and I love the shiny gold foiling on the gold on the front. Then we've got These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan, and I've actually got the sequel to this arriving in the mail soon, because I bought the exclusive edition knowing full well that I hadn't actually read the first one yet, but thinking that I would probably like this one based on what I've heard about it. Hopefully I do, because now I have 2 of them. Then we have Belladonna by Adeline Grace, and I think I own another book by this author, and from the top of my head it's something like, the name is escaping me. Adeline Grace, what else have you written? I think it's like All the Stars and Teeth or something along those lines. Maybe I should read that first before I read this, but hey, I have both now, so I guess it doesn't matter what order I read them in. Another recent one is This Vicious Grace by Emily Teed. I hope that's how you pronounce that last name. I love the yellow. I don't see many books printed in this color, but the title does kind of disappear. Again, haven't read it. Then we've got Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. I've heard so many people talk about how incredible this book is, and so I have to pick it up, but still haven't. And last but not least, we've got Only a Monster by Vanessa Len, and again, haven't picked it up, but I've heard some people say they've really enjoyed it and the sort of young adult angstiness of it, so I'm hoping that I love it. Anyway, those are all of the books that I currently own that are Fairy Loot, Illumicrate, or something else special editions, and I have not read the vast majority of them. I think I've read about 3 of the total number. Maybe this will prompt me to actually read these books. I bloody well hope so, because I've spent so much money on these and it would actually kill me if I never got around to reading them. Come and chat to me in the comments down below. Let me know if you've read any of these books, loved them. If you're signed up to any special editions and you think I should jump back on there, I'm always looking for excuses to jump back in and get more of the stuff because I love it so much. But yeah, come and chat to me in the comments. I love talking to you guys, and I do my best to reply to every single comment. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please do let me know by liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell all down below. It is a super easy way to help my channel grow, and I will see you lovely people in my next video. Bye!